Hey guys, I appreciate you listening to my question.
Hey, Steven.
Hey, we had a guy come out of a hotel here in Virginia.
Hang on, y'all. Where you at, Steven?
Virginia.
Hey, that's where I was born. I was born down in Norfolk, Virginia, way back when.
I'm in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley here in Virginia.
Virginia.
We had a guy. Excuse me.
Virginia's for lovers, my friend.
That's a fact. Yes, sir.
How can we help you tonight?
We had a guy come out of a hotel and fire 7 rounds just out into nowhere out of a 9mm pistol. We found the rounds. We contacted our Commonwealth attorney, and she stated to us to get the hotel staff to open the door to his room and go ahead and search, because he has a limited expectation of privacy due to the staff having access to the room. And every case law I've researched says that is 100% incorrect.
Well, case law wins there, my friend. Wow, really? That's interesting. So 7 rounds out of the Motel 7, because we'll upgrade it since he said he popped off 7 rounds, right? Okay, well, think about this. He's a lawful tenant. It sounds like he's probably paying his, $8 a night to stay there. So he got a little unruly. Yeah, he's got an expectation of privacy in there. And for your counsel there to tell you to basically employ the manager of that as your agent to make entry in there, I do have a little bit of concern with that. Now, is there a legal justification for getting in there? Well, maybe. Is there an exigency? Are we concerned about people being injured inside? I know he came outside and popped off rounds. But that guy still got an expectation of privacy, even in the Motel 7. Yeah, I have concerns about grabbing the manager saying, "Hey, let us in here to go handle business." Any other thoughts on that one, John? That's interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean, so there's a lot of factors to consider, right? A lot of information. There's some questions that I would have. I'll send this case out to everybody.
Oh, that one's a great one. That Shaw case. You want to tell that story? Because that was good thinking right there. That Shaw case.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different factors going on, right? So first off, we say if we go into a hotel or a motel room that's a temporary lodging, that's a place that a person has a high expectation of privacy, right? A high Fourth Amendment protection in that area. And so the question is, what is our recognized exception for going in there? First off, is there exigency? Do we have this emergency aid doctrine, right? Do we have an objectively reasonable basis to believe that there's an emergency occurring inside this room? Or are we just going in there to arrest someone? If we're just going in there to arrest someone, well, then that's an issue, not insurmountable, but potentially an issue. Another case that I absolutely love is Ryburn versus Huff. See if I can pull that one up for you. But Ryburn versus Huff, basically what the court said, United States Supreme Court said, is if you have an objectively reasonable basis to believe that violence is imminent, if you have an objectively reasonable basis to believe that violence is imminent, then you can make a warrantless entry into a home to address that issue, right? And so is the guy, it sounds like based on what Steven's telling us, the guy is like gone and in custody and he's been addressed, right? And I'm just picking that up. Maybe that's inaccurate. That's what in context, that's what it sounded like. And so if that's the case, then you've got issues, because if you're not relying on exigency because of the objectively reasonable basis to believe that the threat of violence is imminent, and if you don't have the emergency aid doctrine where you think that there's an ongoing emergency inside that room, and again, if you're relying on emergency aid, you go in, you address the emergency, and then you stop. Right? Any plain view, you're good, but you certainly don't search for anything. And so I look at this and I say, how are we getting into that room? Another question that I had is, here's a question, right? What about this one, Mike? We're hooking the dude up in the parking lot, right? And he's going in the car, and manager comes out and says, "Hey, is that the guy who's shooting the gun?" And we're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Hey, you're evicted. You're out of here. I don't want you staying here. We'll refund your money, whatever. Don't come back. I'll put your shit in storage," right? Hotels, motels, they have a common law right of eviction, right? And
ejected for cause. And I'm sure even the Motel 7 doesn't appreciate rounds popped up in the parking lot. Just saying, I haven't lived in Virginia in a long time. You correct me if I'm wrong, but it probably wouldn't like it.
Right. And so now he's been evicted from the room, so he no longer has a reasonable expectation of privacy in the room itself. he is still going to retain those reasonable expectations of privacy in his bags and things like that. And so your ability to search those is going to depend on a warrant or the hotel or motel's policy. You would just be acting in accord with their policy. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, unless he abandoned the room, maybe. I don't know. We're missing a lot of details, Stephen. What do you think? Any of those different routes applicable here?
Yeah, you really cleared it up. I honestly thought my Commonwealth attorney was mistaken when she told me that. So I went and did a lot of research, and you just confirmed my suspicions 100%. So I'm very, very grateful.
Oh, yeah. Just appreciate it, sir. Make sure you email Rich. Get your coin. You too get one of these.